What is up, guys? Matt Daniels here, and I'm showing you Anthropoly, which is a MOBA-inspired, roguelike-inspired creation of mine that I've been working on for a few years. And I kind of want to do this just to have a rules video and something that people can watch to see if they're interested before jumping into a match. So first things first, how do you win the game and what is the point? So primarily, it is an objective control game. So these are tokens that I've used that are going to signify at the control phase of the game, which we'll talk about, if you control a zone or not for your team. So it is team-based, though you can do a duel in it. So you can 1v1, 2v2, once I get enough heroes, 3v3, but I just haven't gone ahead because it is a work in progress, and I've been switching things around over the years and iterating and trying to just make it flow the best that I can. Objectives of the game. I'm going to just grab this right here. Boom. So winning the game is going to be most points by the end of round 6 or first to 100 points. So this is your scoreboard over here where you'll track things. The black things are going to be your tracking cubes for points. Killing an enemy hero after their final respawn token. So teams get respawns equal to the amount of heroes on the team. So in a 1v1, that would just be 1. So you can respawn once, and after you die then you would lose the game. This is a new tentative rule. Really, my first one has just been most points by the end of round 6, because I am just trying to test stuff in the game. I didn't realize, it's a huge kind of project, and you need a lot of people to give you feedback and balance test and all of that stuff. So that is definitely where I need your guys' help. That if you really love MOBAs and roguelikes and just building a hero and fighting other people, then this is probably a great game for you. And also, I need your help. So then the next one is going to be controlling all 7 zones at once. So you can't control base zones. You can only control these zones out here. And so if you manage to, which I have played with people and seen it get pulled off in a wipe, that if you managed for your team to control all 7 zones at once, then you could also win the game. These last 2 are just things, the stock and the full board control are just things I'm testing, but I've seen them happen, and I think that the stock makes it so you're not just maybe sacrificing your life to do certain things, which at the moment you can. And then, so these are how these flip over. Obviously blue for blue and red for red. So that's that. Try to not waste too much of your time. So scoring points. So for getting points here, you're going to do that a few different ways. One being whenever you kill a basic little minion, one of these little dudes of an enemy team, you're going to get 1 point. When you control a zone like this in the control phase, 3 points for your team. Killing a champion, which are kind of like promoted minions over here, is 3 points for your team. And whenever you kill an opposing hero or they die, then you will get 10 points for your team. So that is points covered and sort of the overall objective of the game. It is controlling the kingdom, essentially, is what you're trying to do, whether that's by killing anybody else who might also try to control it, or just seizing control of it. So that is the point, oh dear, of the game. Glad that worked. I'm a little bit of a TTS noob, but it is the way when it comes to prototyping games. So next thing that I'm going to go into is just grabbing a hero and showing you how that works and what that looks like. There are a couple pieces that I need to update, so if I'm talking about stuff and it doesn't seem super clear, I probably just need to update it, or little mismatches like this. Anyways, so I'm going to throw my hero on the board, and I'm going to grab Barry for his hero token just to kind of show you a hero, but I'm not going to really play that out too much. I don't think. We will see. So the things that we want to look at mainly are our hero and this phase tracker, because if I can show you one round of the game, then you pretty much know the game. So we're going to set up, or just looking at the setup of a hero card, and then I'm just going to bring you through the rounds of a game as if I were kind of playing it, and then by the time we get to the final phase for round 1, then you'll know how to kind of play everything other than the dragon. There is neutral minions, or monsters, I guess, in this game, being the dragon, you know, League, of course, huge on the drag. So that's he's going to make an appearance at the minion phase of round 2. So here is our hero. They're going to start at our base. Now, getting your hero's card set up. I use this format just because it allows me to track multiple things with as little table space as I can, because that is an important thing to me, or, you know, it was a big deal. So first things first, you are going to want a green cube. So these are all your maxes on your card. So that would mean that he has 13 health max. That is the only one that you're going to put on the table right now, or on the stack card. But going over the other ones, so health is obviously, it reaches 0, you die, then you are going to respawn back at your base for whatever team you're on, clear of any conditions, anything else. It's just like you spawn for the very first time. So then we've got energy. Energy is your purple cube, marked by the star here, and that's going to be how you do hero or skill abilities over time. Looking at them, they've got a star cost. I will talk more about that in a minute. So then the next thing is going to be blue. Blue is your shields. Shields can prevent incoming enemy damage. One shield will block one incoming damage for yourself or close allies. So if that's a minion or another hero, this is a board of 9 zones, if you did not notice. So if they're in the same zone as you, they're close. And if they are not, if they're here, they're adjacent. Diagonal movement is not typical. It's kind of special, but there are certain things that can target diagonally or move diagonally if you do the right stuff. So that's energy. That is shields. Then our next one is going to be our red one, which is for wounds. Wounds is sort of your damage over time. So at the end of the round phase, you will take damage equal to half your wounds rounded up. So that means that if you have 2 wounds, you're going to take 1 damage at this end of round phase over here. If you had 3 wounds, you're going to take 2 damage at this end of round phase over here. And oh, I lost myself. Gonna find it. I think that's the main thing with the wounds. Yeah. Half your damage. Oh, they continue to stack. So you have to clear these to get rid of them, whether that's through healing abilities or trading them for other things. Then that is something that you're going to want to manage over the game. 1 or 2 wounds, not a big deal. Once you start to creep up to 8 or 9 wounds, that's a serious chunk of your health. So it's sort of a combo of keeping your health up enough to be safe, but also keeping your wounds down so that you don't just bleed out at the end of your turn. And then stick that over there. The next token is going to be for your power tokens. So you start with one of those. This is the symbol for it. So you can have a maximum of 2. And a power token basically means that it's your way to have an impromptu turn. It's going to make it so that before or after any other hero's turn in the hero phase, so we get 2 turns each in that hero phase, you can say, I'm going to use a power token, and that's going to give you an impromptu turn. It can't be someone else's turn currently, just to keep it nice and clean. So that is how that works. And so that gives you an impromptu turn minus the run. I will explain that once we get to the your turn part. And we're pretty close. So then the next bit is going to be gold. So just like in MOBAs, there is a shop. These are the items. So when we start the game, there's 5 items available, including the first one on the top is also available. One goes out, you just stick another one down. And the good thing about these items is that they cost gold. So we'll get 5 gold at the start of the round. These cost gold, so you can buy these while you are at your base. Same thing as League or a MOBA that I've played. You can buy new items when you are at the base. You can also hire troops with money when you are at your base zone. So that's kind of the point of heading back to your base. And also, if other heroes kill you, they're going to take half your gold. So you don't want to be stockpiling huge amounts of gold and then dying, because you're going to feed that to the enemy team and they're going to buy stuff and come and hurt you. So that is your gold. And then I guess this is something I often forget myself, but each hero's passive. So all heroes have a passive. This is something you're going to make sure that you want to read as I go through the rules. Sometimes it's a thing I gloss over, but it's very important to your hero. So for Jimbo, Jimbo cannot be moved by enemies if he has at least one shield, which is your blue. And then whenever Jimbo performs a basic attack, which I will show you in a sec, or a fortify, which is also another basic action, he gains +1 shield. So this really helps him not get pushed around the map, because there's a lot of things that aim to kind of shove you out of a zone so someone can take control of it. So that's really important that you make sure you're reading their passives. And then the drafting, building 2 heroes. And then I'm pretty much done with the hero setup. So you're going to notice he's got skill blocks over here. And he starts with a blue and a black. And this is the thing that I'm testing right now to really have something that gives you the capability to build your hero throughout a match, while it's a simple enough mechanic that you can use it and the game doesn't get all clogged up. This is the ability chart that I'm trying to integrate into the game. So it basically means that you can tier up to 3 of a specific color. Something like 7 to 10 blocks is what's going to be the total. And so you can spend these blocks on your turn whenever they readingly make sense to use them. So for example, a blue block can be used to give you +3 to a defense roll after rolling it. Typically, all your plus to rolls have to be before, so you can't just min-max it. But this blue block allows you to have +3 after, and I'll show you why that's cool in just a sec. And also the black one allows you to make an opponent's roll -3. So these are blocks that you're going to get, and you will get them after this end of round phase here. And you're going to be able to pick 2 new colored blocks that have to be different. So you can't pick 2 blues, but you could take a red block and say a yellow block. Red is kind of aggressive damage. Yellow is sort of speed and mobility. So you can either sort of all in to your hero's colors, or you can kind of diversify. Now, when you get those skill blocks, so I chose red and yellow, that would mean I would then look at a red and a yellow card. So this is a new card for my hero, and then I just look at the 2 of them. This one is going to increase your true roll on attack rolls by 5, and I'll show you why that's cool. And then this one makes it so that you can dash or evade as an 11 to 15 option. And so then you would pick one of those cards to add, that would go to my hand, is where it should go. Give me that. Yeah. No, don't spin it. Just there. Show them that it's in the hand. Nice. We've shown them it's in the hand. Good job. Okay, so that is how you would end up drafting a card. Everybody's going to do that bit at the end, and then we start over at the next round. So that is a hero covered, which is kind of the main thing. Once you know how to play one hero, or set this up and use it, you know how to do it for everybody. It is the same. So then I'm just going to kind of go through a round of a game, so then you can kind of see it. And then once you know that, you'll know if this game is or isn't for you, and you'll also know how to play it. So just checking my thing here on the side that you can't see, my little script, just to see if I'm missing stuff, because I hate missing things. Because I'm just bad at rules. I hate feeling like I'm just talking at people. But nonetheless, you need to know how to play, and I need you to know how to play so that we can have fun. So we're going to start off at the start of the round. Now, that is going to get you to reveal the story card. The story cards are going to go into a zone and cause an effect, And that is how you get a lot of your diversity in the game, because my biggest thing with MOBAs and roguelikes is just really the replay value. And I kind of feel like in some ways, it's a stretch, but MOBAs are sort of roguelike-y, especially like in a solo queue mindset, because you're fighting different people. You've got different people on your team, which kind of obviously changes what's going to happen in a match and how you need to react. And then it may also, depending on the hero you're playing, change how you build them. So I kind of feel like that's why I love League so much, and maybe you do too, is because you can just replay it. Like, I've been playing League for 15 years, my guys and gals. So that's why I love this. And so I've tried to create mechanics in the game that would just essentially let you to play a hero, try new fun builds, and the game will be consistently very different. So back to story deck. So I'm going to shuffle this, and then our first one is going to go to the tavern space. Shuffle this, and it's going to be the Dance of Death story card. So any attack performed in the zone will kill the target if they have 2 or less health, or 7 or more wounds after their attack. Repelling a target into or out of this zone deals +1 damage and +1 wound to them. So that is pretty huge. You don't want to get knocked into or out of this zone. And you can be executed if you are too low on health or too wounded. So that's kind of the point of the health and the wounds. So on my turn, or I guess I'm not there yet. See, I told you, I'm a little bad at my own game. I really want to be able to explain it quick. So we're going to start this off. So I'm going to gain 5 gold, and then I'm going to get 3 energy, and I'm going to draw 2 cards. I'm going to take this out and just shove it back there so it's not confusing. And these guys too. Get out of here. Okay. And so everyone's going to do that. Check rotate conditions, which are like effects, buffs, whatever, on a zone or yourself. But that is not here at the start. So then we're going to go into the hero phase. You're going to notice that you're going to have 2 turns. And I've tried to make this next turn in your turn card that pretty much explains how your turn should go. So you're going to get 1 more energy and draw 1 more card. So now I'm up to 3 cards. And then your turn is relatively simple. You can stay in your current zone or move to an adjacent zone. Occasionally you'll have things that'll let you move diagonally, but that's not right now. So then I could choose to move here. And then when you're asking, okay, so what are we using here? There's cards. There's also basic actions. For this first round, I'm just going to talk to you through the basic actions. Because if you get those, then you will get the hero cards pretty simply. So on a turn, it is that you get to stay or run in 1 action in any order. And so I can stay here if I wanted to, or move here, which is definitely a bad idea, or move here. So I can move here, and then now I could also choose to once per turn, you can spend 3 energy or discard a card to either perform a bonus run action or gain +1 movement to a run or a dash action. And that is the sprint action right there. So you've got a run, you get a free run on your turn. And then you can pick any one of these or a hero action. So right now, if I were to have to go first, which brings me back. So back step. Before heroes get to go, you have to roll initiative. Both turns, sides, because in a 1v1, it would just be Jimbo or Barry that's going to go. If it was a 2v2, then when they go, they're also going to roll for initiative. This does not take long. I know it's dice rolls, but it really changes the game. And you can also spend energy, 1 energy for +2, or discarding a card for +3. This goes across most things with rolls, where you can then boost your roll. So if I said, okay, I really want to win this initiative, then I can spend 2 energy to pump up my roll by 4. So that would make it a roll score of 19 to his 17. So that's where, depending on the board state, this game is all board state. Nothing is important right now until the board starts to get crowded and people start to get in position. So right now it doesn't matter too much, but this is probably where I'd say, okay, you can go first so that I can then react to his first move. So if that was 19 to his 17, because I spent that energy, that's how you do that. I tried to really create the game where there's a good amount of random, but you have a lot of agency to control that random when you feel like you might want to. If you don't care, you don't have to spend energy or cards. But if you really want a clutch moment and you want that edge, that's how you get it. So say I got Barry to move, and he's going to move, and maybe he uses this focus action here at the bottom. And maybe I'll just kind of walk you through these. So you've got your run and your sprint. Those are how to move. Close attacks, being in your zone, right? This is a close attack. That would be adjacent. I can't hit him with close attacks because he's not in my zone. So close attacks is in my zone. Adjacent attacks would be over here. If he's diagonal, I'm going to need something special to do an attack on him or reposition myself so that I'm adjacent to him. So he comes over here, and then he could sprint, but that's not going to get him too much farther. So probably a bit of a waste. So you've got your strike and your cleave. Strike lets you do a damage and attack roll and gain 1 energy. So this is sort of your I need some tempo, I need some resources, but I want to do an attack. Then you've got cleave, which does 1 damage to up to 3 close targets. This is to really kind of help you and the board from getting overwhelmed by minions too hard. And just to kind of have a basic area of effect attack. But it is close, so you're going to have to sacrifice some position to do that. And the next one is fire. It's the same as strike. It just attacks adjacent, but I differentiate between them because there might be bonuses to close attacks and not adjacent attacks for, build reasons and purposes. The next one is army control. So you can use command, and you can pull in all adjacent troops, and they're not going to take a quick attack, which is basically an attack of opportunity, taking damage for leaving a zone with enemies in it. And so then I can pull them all in. So say I was here, and there was a minion here, and a minion of mine here, and one here. Doesn't matter the amount. These guys are all adjacent. This guy is not. So I could use command, and if Barry or some other guy was in here, and I just had this position, I could move all these guys in here. Boom, boom, boom. To gang beat poor Barry here. So that is the command action. And then it's also going to allow you to sort of reposition your guys because they won't take an attack of opportunity. So if you want to get them out of a zone, then that is also how you're going to control your troops a bit. The next one is going to be fortify. So that's your defense heal one. So you get to perform a heal roll on a self or a close or adjacent ally. And then you are the target to pick a restore 1 health, get a shield, or reduce blah, 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 a wound on the target. And you or the target will also get 1 energy. So this is sort of your restoration / defense. And so in this, you see attack rolls, heal rolls, and then, of course, this roll chart right next to it. So whenever you're performing an attack or a defense or a heal, if they say to do an HR or an AR, which are attack roll or heal rolls, then you're also going to do a defense roll to that. So say I were to attack Barry, then I'm going to roll an attack roll, which I could boost with cards or energy. I got an 11. He rolls. He gets a 16. You can just roll at the same time, guys. That doesn't matter. So that would mean anytime someone's doing an attack roll on you, you are probably getting to do a defense roll. That's just sort of the rule right now. So that would mean that the attacker is going to then resolve it. So that would mean for the 6 to 10 option, I could pick any one of those things. So I could draw a card, get an energy, get a shield, or wound the target. And you're just choosing one of those. And then for the next one, I could choose 1 wound or 1 damage on the target. So maybe I would just choose to put 2 wounds on Barry, so he just starts to slowly bleed to death. It's a great way to kill your enemies. So Then on his roll, though, he got a 16. So then that would mean he could draw one, get an energy or a shield. Let's say he, takes a shield there. And then -1 incoming wound. So then they could also go and get rid of, oh, I want the shield. Yeah. And then reduce 1 incoming wound there. And then lastly, he could evade or repel the attacker. So that evade means moving himself without taking a quick attack, 1 damage from as many enemies are there. So he could evade himself, or he could push him back. Same thing, you're not going to take any quick attacks when you get repelled is the key word. And all those are right here. This is pretty much all of the keywords for the most part for the game. I tried to keep it short and succinct because I don't really want to have a bunch of keywords. It's really supposed to be that once you get this game in the base of a round, then you pretty much understand it, and everything is going to try to just be normal language on your hero cards. Other than the few things I've talked about of close and adjacent and the attacks. And then lastly, out of these options is the focus option, which is going to allow you to draw cards and get energy back, or get energy and a power token back. That power token is your impromptu turn, and you can have up to 2 of those. So that is a pretty strong mechanic. You will also notice that if you get a true 20 or a nat 20, then you are going to get into a class of attack, whatever bonuses, attack, defense, heals, whatever is the whatever there, where you are going to be able to restore power token and really crush your opponent if you're attacking them, or just get a really good crit. So all these are cumulative, other than the 1 to 5, which is just you suck and that's sad. So here's a pity point for your bad roll. You get one point. That's just something I'm kind of playing with, but it does kind of feel good because it does suck when you have a bad roll. So here's a pity point. The 1 point, shouldn't make or break a game, but maybe it does. Who knows? So that is how this table works. And that is where you're going to get a lot of your large random, is this modifier dice to your rolls. And it's a big part of the game and doesn't take too long as far as the rolls, but not going to waste time. This is me trying to be concise. So put those back there and say he's here. Now, both heroes are going to take a turn. So in this first round, your turn 1 is going to kind of get you set up, and then your turn 2 is going to help you to execute on your plan. That's why there's 2 turns in the hero phase. Then once the heroes are done and everyone's rolled their initiatives and done their things, well, I guess I've got one bit. So now that we've talked about the basics, I'm just going to talk to you quickly about the hero cards. So once these are in your hand, heroes have unique cards for them based off of their kind of class and their vibe. So Jimbo is a tank and a warden. So he's going to try to either help his friends or shut you down with some crowd control or telling you that you can't do certain things anymore. And so on a turn, you can do, like I said, the move and one main action. A card or a basic action or a skill card would be like a main action. But you'll notice on hero cards, there's also a bottom part. These are your modifiers. So an action can also have 2, or a main action can also have up to 2 different modifiers. So that would be the bottom part. So enemies cannot ignore quick attacks on their next turn. Would be the modifier from this card. And then this one would, enemies may not perform ranged actions next turn. So you could equip both of these or spend the energy, which would be 2 energy for this one, 2 energy for this one, and then 3 energy to use this best friend main action card. If you didn't have what would be 7 energy to do that, you could just say, I'm going to do a strike, and then I'm also going to attach this modifier and this modifier on there, and that would make up your main action. So that's sort of how that works. And then these skill cubes can just be used when they make sense. You cannot use the level 1 options multiple times on a turn. You can only use any option once on your turn. And so that would be a turn. So that's turn one, two, all the hero turns that you'll ever have pretty much covered right there. So then we go into the minion phase. And in this minion phase, both teams get to spawn 2 minions or 1 champion. I don't want to talk about the champions right yet. TLDR, they're advanced minions, and they've got their own little tiny stat card, and they've got an ability as well. So there is a Slayer, which is going to do more killing, a Herald, which is sort of your team's healer, a Mage, which allows you to sort of move around, and a Protector, which is going to help to protect you and your other little minions. So those are the options there. So I would either get 2 minions, or I could choose 1 champion. For right now, in the early game, you kind of want to be able to get good board control. So I'm going to do that. You can also hire minions when you are at your base zone for 4 gold, and you can buy the items for whatever they cost. Champions cost 8. Now, when we go in and we're talking about gaining gold, I think this is the right card. This is how we gain gold. So you get 5 at the start of the round, 3 for killing a basic minion, 6 for killing a promoted minion, and then you get 2 gold plus half of an enemy hero's gold rounded down when you kill them. If nearby enemy heroes or minions die to minions or wound damage or otherwise indirect damage, then the gold is just going to go to the nearest hero. In a 1v1, that's just going to be whoever's on that team. And in a 2v2, then it's just going to be closest. If it's tied, just solve it with the dice roll or pick. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, you can make a choice there. That's a-okay. And then so both teams would get these 2 minions. Now, minions are just basic. They have 1 HP, and they get 2 actions of run or just doing a 1 damage close attack. So you could choose to run. You could choose to run and attack. You could attack. If there was someone in here, you could attack them twice. There is no defense roll or attack roll from this, which means there is no defense roll. And the order does not matter. You could attack, then move, then attack. There is no order necessarily in this game for that stuff. So then we'll say that he moved here and here. These guys were just a thing. Let's stick this over here. And then this guy moves here. And then this guy's here. Because I'm doing this just to show you the next phase. So the next phase, and we're almost done 1 round, is going to be the control phase. Now, heroes give 2 control points, and troops give 1 control point. So all that means is that we're just determining control with these tokens over here. So that would mean that red base, or red team, gets control of this, and this space. Now, just to give you an example here, say that blue moved both of their minions over here. Since they both only count as 1, that would be 2, but heroes count as 2. So that would mean it's tied, and therefore there's not going to be any change in control. It's just going to stay neutral. If I did control it, then it's not going to get changed for them. But now if we had 1 minion and 1 hero, then that's going to be worth 3 control points. So then they're going to take it. You just flip that over is how that works. And that would be, essentially your control. Now, the bases don't get controls. You can't take control of them or anything like that. So then this just ends up... Wow! Oh, gosh! Sorry. That is not what I wanted to do. So I was just trying to say, then you've got a board that ends up looking kind of like this, if he's in here, and he's in here, like I meant it for it to be. And so that would be 6 points for the blue team. If they were at 1, now they're at 7. And then 9 points. Oh, I moved the wrong block. 6 points. And then that would be 9 points for the red team. And then that's when you score that. Then we get to the final stage, or I guess there's one more. It's just not on this. But we get to the end of round. At the end of round, this is where we're going to inflict our wound damage onto our heroes, and everybody just does this simultaneously. Shields then are going to be set to 0. And then you would again check any conditions that you might have on yourself or on the board. And then you're going to either get rid of them, like this one would have lasted until the player's next turn. So you would get rid of that whenever that happens. Or some of them will say that effects last until the next round, in which case you are going to have it so that if it is next round, it should be tapped. And if it ends at the current round, then it should just be face up. And if it was a condition like that, then you're just going to put it, if it's a positive condition, which this one is negative. So negative conditions are going to go down here. Positive conditions are going to go up here, but this one's for a target. So it would be a negative condition on an opponent. And that's how that works. Yeah. So then that is pretty much the game. Now there's just this final sequence that I'm working on, which is the drafting. And so for the drafting of new abilities in the draft phase, which is going to come after the end of the round, you are going to pick 2 new colored blocks, like I said. So I could say white and black. Black is kind of like just despair and bad things. And then white is the opposite. It's kind of like hope and, good luck, just inspiration maybe. And so I could take those. They're going to come over here. And these would be my new skill blocks. And since I picked a black one and a white one, then I have to choose between the black skill card or the white skill card. So this one is the first time your health would be reduced to 0, survive with 1 health, lasts until the end of the next round. So that would go right into my hand. And if I were to play it, that would be a positive benefit or condition, that I would have on me. And it lasts until the end of the next round. So I'd have it tapped, just like that. Now there's also the black one, which I could have chosen. Anytime your opponent rolls higher than you, they become unlucky, which is disadvantage. Or if you don't know what that is, you have to roll twice and you take the worst outcome. So anytime your opponent rolls higher than you, they become unlucky. They have to roll twice and take the worst, and that would last until the end of the next round. So both pretty cool new cards that I could just use. Then when you would use those, that's going to go into your cooldown pile. These don't need to be face up or face down. I would just keep them face up. There's going to be enough going on in the game that you just knowing your next card isn't going to be a huge squeeze. Now, then whenever you would discard more cards or play them, from your hand, not your deck, then that just stays like that. And then you would just, once all your cards would be toast, boom, you're just going to flip that over or just move it back up here to become your next action pile. This is your action pile. This would be your cooldown one. So you're not going to shuffle it. You're just going to throw it back up here. And then you would just use it over. Whenever you use a basic action, that's just on its own. You don't have to spend a card to do that. And then that is pretty much the entire game. So then from there, you're going to go back to the starter round and then just play it out. Once you get the hang of it and, you're just playing, it goes quite fast. Because now you've kind of known the core loop and how you play the whole game. So then it becomes back to our how do you win the game, which is a card that's somewheres that I've lost. Did I lose it? I think I did. Yep, I seemingly lost it. So I won't let that ruin it. Because, like I said, you are trying to get to the most points by round 6 or these are just tentative ones or ideas that I'm kind of playing with of a stock of killing someone when they have no respawns left or taking control of the entire board at one control phase. If you do that, you win the game. Okay, guys, I hope that helps. I know it's not the best. I will continue trying to improve them, especially as I nail things down more and more and more. It is quite nailed down. I just kind of suck at rules. The drafting skills is kind of the new part. And then, of course, I just need people's help playing and testing and vibing out the game. There's really only been so much I can do in a vacuum. So now I realize that it's just really up to some community support and people that love this kind of game and want to see this sort of game come to life. because my overall goal would be to get up to the spot where, we can have 3v3s, we could have 5v5s. There should be a big pool of heroes, potential expansions for different kind of champions. And once it would hit up to a 4v4 or a 5v5, this is probably going to move to a 4x4 sized board, so that we can fit more people on it and all sorts of cool stuff. So I've got a lot of plans, but I really just kind of need community help and support to figure out what actually feels good and isn't too, cognitive bandwidth annihilating and all that kind of stuff. So hope this helped. If you want to play, feel free to join the Discord. Reach out to me. Right now, I'd really love to get some 4v4s going on. That would be, that's kind of the next big thing. I've done a lot of 1v1s. I haven't got to use this draft mechanic really at all, other than just playing through how I imagine it myself. So that would be cool, but I would really love to get some 4v4s going on and test out this drafting mechanic. Would be really cool. So I will catch you guys around and stop this long-winded explanation, and I hope to see you in game. See you guys.